We've all been there, staring into the back of the fridge, wondering if that questionable something is still edible. But in a real survival situation, knowing what you can depend on is critical. Did you know there are foods that never expire? Imagine having a pantry stocked with foods that never go bad, keeping you prepared no matter what happens. Let's dive in and make sure you and your family never run out of food again. Out in the wild, I've faced scorching deserts and freezing mountains, but the most vital element is always water. You can last weeks without food, but only 3 days without water. Bottled water technically never expires, but only if stored properly. Consider sealed water containers, purification tablets, or even a portable water filter. Remember, water is life, and having a reliable source could be the difference between surviving and, well, you know. Salt. We take it for granted, sprinkling it on our food without a second thought, but out in the wilderness, salt is more than just a flavor booster. It's an essential survival item. Why? Because salt is a mineral and bacteria can't spoil a mineral. That means it never expires. Salt is vital for your health, especially in survival situations. It regulates fluids, prevents dehydration, and helps balance your electrolytes. Stock up, keep it dry and airtight to prevent clumping. And remember, salt is your friend in a pinch. We've all heard the phrase sweet as honey, but did you know that archaeologists found 3,000-year-old honey in Egyptian tombs that was still edible? Honey has incredible antibacterial and antifungal properties. It's a natural energy source packed with antioxidants. Add it to tea, use it in baking or DIY remedies. If it crystallizes, heat it gently to return to liquid. Sugar might get a bad rap these days, but in a survival scenario, it can be a lifesaver. It might harden over time, but even if it turns into a rock, it's still 100% usable. It has an indefinite shelf life if kept dry. Plus, it's great for preserving foods like jams and jellies, extending their shelf life even further. Stock up on sugar, keep it in airtight containers to prevent hardening, and remember, sometimes a little sweetness is just what you need to keep going. White vinegar might not be the first thing that comes to mind when you think of survival food, but trust me on this one. This stuff is a powerhouse, both in the kitchen and beyond. White vinegar, with its high acidity, boasts an indefinite shelf life. It's been used for centuries as a natural preservative, particularly for pickling vegetables. Store it in glass bottles for long-term freshness, and remember, this versatile liquid could be a lifesaver in a pinch. Let's be honest, who doesn't love a stack of pancakes dripping with pure maple syrup? But this natural sweetener isn't just for breakfast. It's packed with antioxidants, and, you guessed it, lasts forever if stored properly. The secret lies in its high sugar content, which makes it resistant to bacteria growth. Mix it with oatmeal, drizzle it on bread, or even add a touch to your tea for a morale-boosting treat. Just remember to store it in glass jars to prevent mold growth. Dried beans, tiny powerhouses of survival. When it comes to survival, protein is essential, and dried beans are a fantastic source. We're talking about a food that can last decades if stored properly. Dried beans are high in both protein and fiber, providing sustained energy and keeping you feeling full longer. Soak them for soups and stews, toss them in salads, or even grind them into flour for baking. Store them in airtight containers with oxygen absorbers to prevent spoilage and keep those little powerhouses ready for action. Pasta, the pantry staple that never quits. We all have that one cupboard dedicated to pasta, right? It's a staple in many cultures, and for good reason. It's affordable, filling, and lasts indefinitely when kept dry. Why is pasta a prepper's best friend? It's calorie-dense and easy to prepare. Toss it with herbs, cheese, or whatever you have. Store it in vacuum-sealed bags or glass jars. Rolled oats, fueling adventures for decades. This humble grain is not only nutritious but also incredibly long-lasting, making it perfect for your survival stockpile. We're talking a shelf life of 30+ years when stored properly. They're packed with fiber, providing long-lasting energy to keep you going during those arduous treks or challenging times. Enjoy a warm bowl of oatmeal for breakfast, bake a batch of energy bars, or even grind them into flour for baking. Store your oats in airtight Mylar bags with desiccants to keep them fresh and ready for action. Dried lentils, small but mighty survival superstars. Lentils often get overshadowed by their bean cousins, but these tiny legumes are nutritional powerhouses in their own right. They're also masters of longevity, lasting for decades when stored properly. They're packed with protein, making them a fantastic meat alternative. They're also incredibly quick and easy to cook, requiring no pre-soaking like some other legumes. Store your dried lentils in vacuum-sealed containers to keep them fresh and ready to fuel your next adventure. Powdered milk, a long-life source of calcium and more. Fresh milk might be a luxury in a survival situation. Powdered milk to the rescue. This shelf-stable alternative lasts for years. Use it to make a comforting glass of milk, add it to your coffee or tea, or even incorporate it into your baking. Boost the nutritional value of your meals and snacks. Store it in sealed containers with oxygen absorbers. Ghee, clarified butter, the shelf-stable cooking essential. Ghee, a type of clarified butter used in many cultures for centuries, is more than just a delicious cooking fat. It's a survivalist's secret weapon thanks to its incredibly long shelf life. Because ghee contains no moisture, it can last for years without refrigeration. It has a high smoke point, making it perfect for frying, sautéing, and even baking at higher temperatures. Store your ghee in glass jars in a cool, dark place and it'll be ready to elevate your survival meals with its rich, nutty flavor. Now let's talk about a true survival classic, hardtack. This simple cracker made from flour and water has sustained soldiers and sailors for centuries. It's incredibly durable and can withstand extreme temperatures and rough handling. It's also incredibly calorie-dense, providing much-needed energy in a pinch. To make it more palatable, soak it in soup, coffee, or even water to soften it up before eating. Don't underestimate the power of flavor, especially in a survival situation. A little bit of seasoning can make all the difference in morale, and make those bland rations a little more bearable. That's where bouillon cubes come in. These tiny cubes pack a punch of flavor and have an indefinite shelf life thanks to their high salt content. Crumble them into soups, stews, or even plain water to add a boost of flavor and salt. Corn has been a staple food for centuries, and for good reason. It's versatile, nutritious, and in its dried form, incredibly long-lasting. Dried corn can outlast most other grains, making it a valuable asset to your survival stockpile. You can grind it into cornmeal for baking, pop it for a morale-boosting snack, or even eat it whole as a source of carbohydrates and fiber. Store your dried corn in mylar bags with oxygen absorbers to keep it fresh and pest-free for decades to come. So there you have it. 15 foods that can outlast almost anything life throws at them. With these essentials in your pantry, you can face the unknown with confidence, knowing you have a reliable source of sustenance no matter what happens. Now that you know which foods never expire, which ones do you already have stocked up? Let us know in the comments. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more survival and prepping tips. Remember, preparation is key. Stay prepared and see you next time.